Good afternoon and welcome to today's meeting of Annual Council. Welcome also to those members of the public and press accessing the meeting via the live stream to YouTube. May I take this opportunity to remind member and officer colleagues to turn their mobile telephones off or to silent and ensure that when addressing the meeting they speak directly into the microphones, ensuring that the red light is on. Microphones should then be switched off when they're not in use so as not to interfere with the live broadcast. Moving to agenda item 1, apologies for absence. May I call upon member services to report any apologies for absence, please?
Thank you, Chairman. Apologies received from Councillors Carney, Mrs Davis, Councillor Humphrey, Harris, Mockett and Oliver. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item 2, election of the chairman. The second item is to elect a chairman for the period to the next annual meeting and to resolve that an allowance of £4,120 plus travelling expenses be paid to the person elected. May I have a nomination, please? Councillor Hoy.
I'd like to propose Councillor Brenda Barber.
Thank you. May I have a seconder? Councillor Mrs French, please. Are there any other nominations? In the absence of any other nominations, Councillor Barber is duly elected as Chairman of the Council for 2025-2026.
In the time since I became a councillor for FDC, I have seen how special this place is, and the people within it are what makes it special. This is a well-run, efficient council whose first purpose is to serve the public. This is true of everyone, from the chief executive and leader down to all the officers, staff and elected members. I'm very proud to have been chosen as the new chairman, and I'll do everything I can to live up to the trust you have all placed in me. Thank you. Before we move to item 3 on the agenda, I would like to formally acknowledge and thank the previous chairman, Councillor Nick Meakins, for undertaking the role from May 2023 to date, and to present him with his past chairman's badge. Councillor Meakins, may I invite you to say a few words?
Thank you, Chairman, and hearty congratulations. Firstly, fellow councillors, I must thank you for giving me the opportunity to be the chairman and to represent Fenland District Council at a number of civic events. In 2023-24, I attended 54, and in 2024-25, attended 80. I hosted civic receptions at Gorefield and carol service at St Peter's Church in Wisbech. I also hosted 2 coffee mornings in the Chamber. The first raised money for Magpass and the second for Damsons, a dementia charity based at Peckover House in Wisbech. 2023 was a mixed year for me personally. My wife Sarah and I bought Parkrun to Wisbech, and it now regularly attracts around 150 people doing the 5K course. And with the volunteers and spectators, there must be nearly 200 people enjoying the park on a Saturday morning. Many of you will know that my mother spent most of 2023 in either hospital or a care home, suffering with dementia. It was a tough time for the family. She died shortly before Christmas 2023. However, there were some bright parts of the year. My daughter Emily gave birth to George, my first grandchild, in September, and my other daughter Alice got engaged to Dan in December. They married in Oslo last August. Doing the part of the father of the bride's speech in Bulgarian was a surreal experience, and Alice is now expecting my second grandchild. Now some thank yous. To the ladies of member services, I'm most grateful, especially to Jo, who sorted out my civic calendar so well. To Paul, Carol and Amy for their support and advice on full council days. Most important of all is my special thanks to Sarah, who has accompanied me on most of the events I've attended and helped me immensely through the ups and downs of the past couple of years. Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is to elect a vice chairman for the period to the next annual meeting and to resolve that an allowance of £1,000 plus travelling expenses to be paid to the person elected. May I have a nomination, please? Thank you, Councillor. A seconder, please.
I'd like to propose Councillor Sam Clark.
A seconder, please. Councillor Meekins.
I would very much like to second that nomination for Councillor Sam Clark to be the Vice Chair. Thank you.
Any other nominations? In the absence of any other nominations, Councillor Sam Clark is duly elected as Vice Chairman of the Council for 2025 to 2026. Councillor Clark, can I invite you to say a few words?
Thank you, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I will support the chairman as needed and when I can, and also represent Fenland in this role as well. Thank you.
Agenda item 4. Members will find the minutes of the ordinary and extraordinary meetings which took place on the 24th of February and 14th of March respectively at pages 5 to 20 of the agenda pack. I would like to move approval of the minutes. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Bowden. Members, are the minutes agreed?
Just sign your 2 minutes, so there's this one there, just pop your signature there, please. As well, please.
Thank you. The minutes are adopted. Neither I nor the Chief Executive have any further announcements to make today, and we shall therefore now move to the next substantive item. Agenda item 6 sets out the suggested dates for meetings of the Council in 2025 to 2026. I would therefore like to propose that the annual meeting of the Council in 2026 is held on Monday the 18th of May 2026 and the ordinary meetings of the Council are held on Monday 21st of July 2025, Monday 15th September 2025, Monday 15th of December 2025, Monday 23rd of February 2026. Could I have a seconder, please? Thank you. Thank you. Are the suggested dates agreed? Agenda item 7 is to receive any declarations of interest under the local code of conduct or any interest under the code of conduct on planning matters in respect of any items to be discussed at this meeting. If you have anything to declare, please can you raise your hand?
Yeah, it's on agenda item 11, the motion from Councillor Bowden. I'm due tomorrow to be appointed to planning at County Council, and I believe they will be determining a planning application in regards to Saxon Pit, so I will not be speaking or voting on that item.
Procedure Rule 8.6 permits questions on notice to the Chairman, the Leader or Member of the Cabinet, or to the Chair of any committee or subcommittee, of which today I can formally record that there are none. Procedure Rule 8.4 permits the Leader of the main opposition group or his nominated representative to put questions to the Leader. Councillor Booth, you have a maximum of 20 minutes. If you would like to ask your questions, please.
Thank you, Chair. The first question I'd like to ask is just regarding local government reorganisation. So obviously letters been sent. Has any more discussion taken place with the councils in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough regarding that? Are we getting any nearer to sort of putting a proposal towards the government? Is there any update you can provide? Obviously we've got the update in the minutes, but they're prepared sometime in advance. So I'm hoping there's some more activity taking place soon.
Councillor Bowden.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. And I'd like to thank Councillor Booth for the question. Unfortunately, we've only got 20 minutes, so I'll try to abbreviate what I could otherwise say, because an enormous amount of work has been done. I'm not going to speculate about how productive that work has necessarily been, for reasons I'll explain in a few moments, but a lot of work has been done in a very cooperative way between all of the leaders of the councils in Cambridgeshire and in Peterborough City, and also between the chief executives and other officers of those councils as well. We are bringing together a lot of data in order to make assessments of the alternative possible makeup that there may be for probably 2 unitary authorities, possibly 3, but probably 2 unitary authorities covering the footprint of Cambridgeshire and Peterborough. And that data will be applied to those alternatives in order to inform an initial decision by members, that is by leaders, as to which probably 2 options will be taken further for further analysis, so that a decision may be made before the deadline which we've got to respond by, which is the 28th of November. Having said that, we don't necessarily all have to speak with one voice. We don't all necessarily have to say the same thing. It is massively helpful for us all to be using the same data set in order to inform and to explain the positions that we've got. But I believe that even if we are putting forward slightly different proposals, we should still be able to put forward one proposal, one document between all 7 local authorities, so that we can manage to show that we have been working together and that the options that we've got are clear. I think it might be premature just to talk about what those options are yet. Technically, there are 6 different options which are on the table. Other options could even theoretically appear out of nowhere, but the idea is that those 6 will be reduced to within the next 2 months, and my intention is that we will have a meeting of full council in order for that process to be explained and to get the agreement or otherwise of full council as to the approach that Finland will take in those discussions, which will be decided in July, about how we move forwards with a smaller number of options to explore in detail. And I said earlier, I'm not sure how productive all of this is. A lot of hard work is being put in. Quite a lot of money is being spent, particularly by the county council, in supporting this process. But we have no guarantee whatsoever that the Secretary of State, Angela Rayner, or the minister involved, Jim McMahon, that they won't turn around and say, oh, we don't like what you're suggesting, this is what we'll do instead. So we've got no guarantee about that. And I'm sorry to say that the first indications in this process are not hopeful. The first local authority in this round of reorganisation to be considered is Surrey County Council. Then there are 5 other county councils, together with nearby unitaries, which will be considered, which are called phase one or tranche 1, and we're in tranche 2, part of 20 to 21 county councils, together with associated unitary authorities such as Peterborough City Council. And in the very first one, the county council put forward a solution that they wanted a single unitary authority, or rather they gave indications that they were going to request a single unitary authority. All of the district councils, and I think off the top of my head there were 11 of them in Surrey, they united to produce an alternative solution with 3 unitary authorities. And a couple of weeks ago, Jim McMahon announces that he is minded, regardless of those recommendations, to go for 2. So it doesn't fill me full of enthusiasm and confidence that after all the work that we are putting in, that we will end up with a resolution which government will actually accept. Having said that, we've got to do our best for the people of Cambridgeshire and Peterborough. I've got to do my best for the people of Fenland, and we are working really hard in accordance with government instructions to produce the recommended geography for the 2 new unitary authorities, assuming it is 2. So I hope that gives an indication of where we are. The fact that this will be coming back, I hope, to a special meeting of full council, I think should be of interest to all members, and you will then be able to see in much more detail what is being suggested and how I recommend at least that we move forwards. We will have the opportunity to have a debate. So the basic answer to your question, I have been told by a member here present, I won't name the person concerned, I've been told to keep my answers short, so my apologies that first answer has been long, but the answer to your question is yes.
Thank you for that comprehensive update. I suspect the reason Surrey might not have got what they wanted was that they weren't all speaking with one voice. I suspect the more unified approach that is presented, the more likelihood you are to get something like that. So, yes, I would encourage obviously closer working, which sounds like it is already happening. My other question is just regarding the new Inspire project. So, obviously, we've got a new cabinet, and it seems to me that different people have got different responsibilities under that project. Who's going to have the final say, I guess, and will it be going to the new project board, which hasn't actually met yet? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Councillor Booth did very well to get 2 or 3 questions in there in one, which is very good. I'll try and answer it all. Absolutely, it is the case that the Inspire projects have been split between more than one cabinet member. And that's because of the sheer size of the ambition which is involved in this. And it's as a result of that I've asked 2 members of Cabinet to take responsibility for those Inspire projects specifically. But whilst they are going to be leading on those, ultimately it will be for Cabinet to take collective decisions and, where it's going to be appropriate and necessary, for matters to come back before this full council especially when we come to budget time, because these items do need to appear in our capital and revenue budgets, particularly the capital side, and we need to make sure that what is actually put forward is affordable. So ultimately, full council will decide when decisions are being made about the budget for future years and what is included and what is not included. It's much too early to start talking about specific timescales for specific projects. Work is being undertaken on that as I speak, and we will be prudent in what we do, but we'll also be ambitious, and that's a difficult combination to do, but I'll do my very best to do that. And I'm sure I've forgotten the third question, but I do apologise, Councillor Booth.
It's just regarding the new project advisory.
Oh, absolutely. The project advisory group is meant for any specific project which is decided will be useful for Cabinet's direction to be scrutinised by members. At the moment, there is nothing proposed. I hope that it won't be necessary to use that, but if it turns out that there is a reason to use it, I won't hesitate to ask for that committee to be constituted and for them to participate in a decision-making process. At the moment, nothing is relevant for that. Nothing really would be helpful, but if it is, it will happen.
Thank you.
Procedure Rule 8.2 permits questions to Cabinet members about any matter which falls within their portfolio responsibilities. The portfolio holder briefing report appears at pages 21 to 72 of the agenda pack. Any members wishing to ask a question should indicate this by raising their hand, and they will then be invited to speak in turn. Members are reminded there is a total time allocation of 1 hour for this item. Councillor Gerstner.
Thank you. Question for the leader, please.
Yes.
With reference to the Whittlesea Relief Road strategic outline business case, given that the low benefit to cost ratio is so low and that a further funding of £220,000 is required for the next stage, can the leader please explain how funding will be obtained, even though there is a strong case for the Relief Road, and given that the Royal Haskinins report from March 2021 is now 4 years old, and is that still relevant? Thank you.
Councillor Bowden.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and I took the precaution of writing down the questions this time so I won't forget. And I do thank Councillor Gerstner for raising this issue, which is a very important one, and it's important not merely for the residents of Whittlesea, but it's actually important for the whole of Fenland because of the implications of what will happen if no action is taken. And those implications are that Whittlesea basically will just jam up in terms of the traffic in the centre of Whittlesea, and Whittlesea will not be in a position to take its fair share of growth, either in terms of economic growth or in terms of housing growth. The road system just will not be sufficient to be able to take it. And that was very clearly enunciated in the strategic outline business case, and it is the subject of a motion which is coming up later in this agenda. The BCR, as mentioned by Councillor Gerstner, was not high, but BCR isn't what it used to be. That's benefit cost ratio. Benefit cost ratio isn't what it used to be. In olden days, well, not that many years ago, benefit cost ratio was a specific number. If you got above a certain number, you'd get a project going forward. If you were below that number, it wouldn't. Nowadays, it's a much more nuanced approach. So it's not just that single number, which is the BCR, which is relevant, but also all the things which are associated with it. And there are a whole host of things mentioned in the report which are associated with the project as a whole. What was recommended in the strategic outline business case is that a further £220,000 is spent in order to explore what possibilities there are to produce a scheme which will increase the likelihood of being able to move forward to an outline business case. And Councillor Gerstner asked what action has been taken. Well, a couple of hours ago we had a meeting of the Cabinet, and at that meeting it was agreed that we would authorise officers to approach various sources to see if that money is available. And as was said in the Cabinet meeting, the most obvious place to go is the Combined Authority. So I'm sure that's the first place, in fact I know that's the first place. I had words with officers after the meeting. That will be the first place that, which will be approached to seek that funding. I'm not confident that it will come immediately, but Councillor Gerstner will recognise that we have battled for many years on this, and we will continue to battle until we get what is needed. Councillor Gerstner referred to the Royal Huskanans report, which was an inception report. Now, if you have a major infrastructure project like this, you've got to go through 7 stages, and you'd have thought they would be called stages 1 to 7. They're not. They're called stages 0 to 6. Stage 0 is the inception report, and that's what we in Whittlesea Town Council funded, and which reported back those years ago. That positive report gave us the opportunity for the strategic outline business case, and it will now be suggested that this further money is spent in order to see how that case may be amended so as to justify moving forward to the outline business case. I hope that answers the question. I can't predict the future, but I think that neither Councillor Gerstner nor I are going to give up on this issue.
Thank you. It's just that it was a very good answer for the update. Thank you.
Councillor Marks, did you want to speak? Councillor Booth.
Thank you, Chair. A question for Councillor Laws. I'm sure she can preempt what I'm going to ask. Thank you for the update in the pack regarding the local plan. What is disappointing is we still haven't got any timetables for when things are going to take place. And I was looking back at some papers, and I think the local plan originally should have been completed by February 2022. We're now 3 years ahead, and it's not going to be completed for at least a couple of years, I would have said. So it would be good to get some timetables so at least we can work towards those and get it delivered. Bearing in mind local government reorganisation, I think it's going to be quite an urgent piece of work.
Thank you, Councillor Booth. Completely expected. So I'll be very brief. Completely understand where you're coming from regarding timetables, and this has rather been out of our control for several reasons. But the situation is obviously complicated with the LGR, and with very new regulations coming forth from central government relating to local plan delivery expectations. Officers are now working on this as well as waiting for some further clarifications nationally. So as yet, I'm not in a position to provide a definitive position as to the next steps. I intend to be able to do so at the earliest opportunity and will update in due course. I'm sorry it's such a vague answer at the moment, but so much is happening, as you can appreciate, with the planning regulations.
Councillor Booth.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Laws. I guess one question that the whole sort of changes to the proposals from government is that obviously there's a new number allocated to Fenland for a number of houses, which was different to what we originally, I think it's about 50 houses extra a year. Does that mean that we're going to have to go out to public consultation again, or is that one of the things that we're going to have to get clarification on?
Councillor Laws.
Thank you. Further clarification is the word I would use. It's very disappointing, I think, for every member here, because we know, obviously, how important the plan is. So all I can say is at the moment, I don't want to give any information that may actually be corrected the very next day, and that is what's happening at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Councillor Gerstner.
Thank you. Councillor French, please. It's a while since we had any communication or update about parking enforcement, and considering now we have a new administration at County Council, has there been any contact with them at all? Thank you.
Thank you. The answer is no, we haven't made any progress, but during Cabinet we will be discussing it.
Can't see the others. No more. No.
No more questions? Item 10 is a motion on notice from Councillor Senate-Clough and appears at pages 73 to 74 of the agenda pack. Members will also see on their desks a proposed alteration to the motion, which, in accordance with Procedure Rule 12.7a, Councillor Senate-Clough can move with the agreement of the meeting. Is that agreed? Councillor Senate-Clough, would you now like to move your motion as altered? You have 5 minutes to present your motion and say anything you wish about it. Your next opportunity to speak will then be when summing up.
Thank you, Chair. Motion to full council on a flag for the Fens. The Fens is an area of significant historical and cultural value, and there is clear and growing public support for the creation of a specific regional flag for the Fens. This motion seeks to harness that enthusiasm by beginning a structured and inclusive process towards the creation of a symbol that reflects and celebrates the identity of the Fens and its residents. Full Council hereby instructs the Culture, Arts and Heritage Committee at its next meeting to initiate work on establishing a competition to design a flag representing the Fens and its residents. Given Fenland's central geographical position within the wider Fens area, it is proposed that FDC undertakes the administrative responsibilities associated with organising the competition. However, in recognition of the fact that the flag will represent the wider Fens area beyond the Fenland administrative boundary, the judging panel should include representatives from across the broader region to include a member of the Flag Institute. As we move towards the potential creation of unitary authorities, a process that will result in shifts in administrative boundaries, the development of a regional flag will play a valuable role in promoting the shared cultural identity and cohesion across the Fens, regardless of future local government boundaries.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the proposal? Councillor Bowden, thank you. You can reserve the right to speak at the end of the debate or at the time of seconding the motion. Do you wish to speak now? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I wasn't particularly in favour of having time spent on selecting a flag for the Fens. But there are a lot of people out there who are, and who are concerned about it, and for them it is a big issue. The Flag Institute has been contacted by Councillor Senate-Clough as being the chairman of the Culture, Arts and Heritage Committee, and it is clear that our central geographical position within the Fens means that if the calls for a flag for the Fens is to be met, then we are the ones who have to meet it. Having said all of that, it is my concern that I understand why people want the identity of the Fens to be reflected in a flag. And it is very much a cultural issue. It is very much an arts issue in a way. And there could be an enormous amount of enthusiasm and interest generated by what could be quite an exciting competition. Now, many of you will not be surprised to hear that my concerns were about the cost of all of this and the amount of officer time. And I have had discussions with Councillor Senate-Clough, and this will not go ahead unless it is at no external cost to us at all, and that officer time is kept to a minimum. And so apart from the publicity which is involved and the IT setup which is going to be required, this will be done at minimal cost to us in terms of time or officer labour. But nevertheless, it can and should actually generate a significant amount of interest. And the Fens and the people of the Fens, we've got a lot to be proud of, and we've got a lot to identify. And I look forward to schools getting involved in this, to many people putting forward their own ideas, and for us to see some very imaginative suggestions come forward. I'm pleased I won't be on the judging panel. Councillor Senate Clough hasn't asked me to be on the judging panel, but I'm pleased I'm not on the judging panel because there are other people better than me to be able to make judgment about this, and it's really important that those individuals are spread outside Fenland and not just from Fenland itself, and that's what will be achieved if we go ahead with this motion today. It is not a major issue in terms of something that we have to do, but it is responding to a significant amount of public demand. And we are the ones here in Fenland who actually, are, according to the Flag Institute, are required to take the initiative on this. Now, many children's applications may well be in a very simplistic form, so it's going to be important for us to make it quite clear that it's the idea behind the flag rather than necessarily the exact painting or creation of it, which will be important when being judged. As well as, and it's nice to get this word into a council meeting, as well as the vexillological appropriateness of the applications concerned. So I look forward to something which will really capture people's imagination. Yes, people can fly whatever flags they want, but having this flag for the Fens will mean that the uncertainty which some people feel and the difficulty of having anything formally recognised by the Flag Institute will be overcome. And I really am looking forward to that competition. I look forward again to Councillor Senate Clough being the individual who will steer this through, but I do emphasise this will not be done at cost to the council nor at significant officer cost either. It will be done voluntarily by external individuals who are appropriately qualified and under the leadership of Councillor Senate Clough. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The item is open for discussion and members are reminded that they are only able to speak once. Councillor Patrick.
The current flag of the Fens, albeit unofficial, that was not endorsed when the motion was put before this council, has won the backing of Peterborough City Council, East Cambridgeshire District Council, South Holland District Council, Gedney Parish Council, Outwell Parish Council, Stephen Barclay MP, Charlotte Kane MP, Sir John Hayes MP and Andrew Pakes MP. If a particular flag wins the competition, then will it replace the flag of the Fens? And what will happen when the new unitary authority is formed in a few years and all the other councils that have supported it don't support the winning flag design? Surely if the flag of the Fens wins, then it must be premeditated and renders a competition useless. Therefore, I cannot support the motion.
Thank you. Councillor Tierney.
Thank you, Chair. There is no current flag of the Fens. You don't get to have a flag of the Fens simply because a council declares it, in the same way that if we declare the flag of the Fens, another council may feel differently. So it's a cumulative process, I think, that has to go through certain structures like the flag organisation, whose name I forget. I just want to be very clear, though, I personally do not support the idea of a flag for the Fens, and I never have, really. I think that it's a bit of a waste of time and money, and so we have better things to do. And for that reason, I'll point out we might then have a flag for Wisbech. Do we have a flag for the ward of Medworth? Do we have a flag for Alexandra Road? How low do we go? I just think it's a bit of a waste of time, but I'm not here to represent my opinion. I'm here to represent the people of the area, and a lot of them feel differently to me. Fine, okay, so if we're going to have a process, then it should absolutely be through a fair competition. It should not be that somebody decides this is the flag and starts pushing it around to people. That's not how these things should be done. I absolutely don't support that. So I really appreciate Councillor Senate Clough's leadership on this issue. I think that a proper competition is the way to go, and if that other flag that claims to be the flag of the Fens were to enter the competition and win, fine. But I do think it shouldn't be a matter the whole of the fence is decided because somebody puts up a flag and says, this is our flag. I don't believe that's the way it should be decided. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors wish to speak? Thank you. Councillor Purser.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. When it came to the actual committee itself, I did actually endorse this, and I still do very much endorse this. I'm a proud Cambridgeshire man, a proud Fenman, and to put up the flag for the Fens, show that we are proud of our region and proud of things that have actually happened here, I think it's incredibly important. I actually can't see it at the moment, but people might see on my jacket, I still wear the Cambridgeshire flag to show people that we actually come from here. I actually saw a badge the other day, which I actually think could actually be endorsing it. I'm from the Fens, what's your superpower? Which I think basically, sort of brings us into it. I think it gives us a sense of belonging and a sense of pride. As I say, I would proudly show that flag and hope that other people do the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. All I'll say on this matter is, as you know, I did bring a motion to try and get the flag of the Fens endorsed. Whichever way it goes is, a vote for the people. As Councillor Bowden indicated before, that it is about how we represent those that have elected us to be here. Something at that motion that Councillor Tierney mentioned was a better way to have gone would have been a public consultation, whether it been online or however that takes place. I think we're open to a lot of scrutiny with the competition. As Councillor Patrick mentioned, that it could be seen that it's already a predetermined flag that we're going to vote for should that flag win. So I just want the council to be mindful of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Booth.
Thank you, Chair. I think this is a nonsense motion, to be quite honest. There is a flag of the Fens. People are using it. It has been reported, I think it's Mr. Bowman who designed it, that he's approached the Flag Institute, and they've already said that there is community support for the flag. The only piece that's missing is elected representatives supporting it, and the only place that's really not supporting it is this chamber. And I think that the only reason for that is because an opposition council put it forward and you decided you didn't like it because it just gets that petty at times. So I don't support this motion. I think there is a flag of the Fens already. People are using it quite widely. It's flown. There are organisations where it's being used alongside. So I think at the VE Day celebrations, I saw that the flag was flown alongside the Royal British Legion. I must declare I'm a coordinator for poppy collections. Just so that's in the open. But, this flag is being endorsed and looked upon by the community already. So to have a competition just because, you don't think it should be determined the way it has been, I think is rubbish. So I won't be supporting the motion.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Councillor Sennett-Clough, would you like to sum up?
Thank you, Chair. I will sum up with a quote from the Flag Institute. Where no historical design exists for a community, the Flag Institute's preference for the development of a design is through a public competition. This maximises public involvement in the process and mandate for the subsequent adoption. Where a community is unable or unwilling to run such a competition, the Flag Institute will consider individual proposals, provided they have formal support from suitably representative bodies for the community in question. In this case, we are willing to run a competition, and to go back to the earlier point in this quote from the Flag Institute, this is their preference because it maximises public involvement in the process. We are elected representatives. We are here to represent those people that elected us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now move to the vote. All those in favour?
25 votes, Chairman.
All those against?
Six votes, Chairman.
Any abstentions?
5 votes, Chairman.
Thank you. May I now call upon Member Services to announce the outcome?
That was it. The motion is carried, Chair.
The motion is carried. Thank you. Item 11 is a motion on notice from Councillor Bowden, which appears at pages 75 to 76 of the agenda pack. Councillor Bowden, would you like to move your motion? You have 5 minutes to present the motion and say anything you wish about it. Your next opportunity to speak will then be summing up.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll try not to take 5 minutes. I've come before this council previously to talk about what happens at Saxon Pit in Whittlesea. It is an area which in 2012 was designated as being appropriate for waste processing and other operations. And as a result, we have had some industry at that location which has not always met with complete approval by local residents. We have had instances of dust, odour, noise and other pollution as a result of what has been happening at the Saxon Pit. A planning application has been put forward to County Council, and it's County Council which considers it because it is a waste site. And an application has been put in for the main works there to be significantly increased, effectively doubled. That is twice as many vehicles coming in and out through Whittlesea, twice as much potential for pollution, twice as much processing taking place, and worst of all, a significant increase of the hours of operation so that effectively it will be a 24/7 operation. And the noise effect at night time is likely to be significantly worse for local residents than the noise which is currently experienced during the daytime. Now, what I'm requesting here is really simple. The first is to get the support of this council so that we say that we oppose the application as a council. The deadline for submissions for representations in the current consultation is the end of this month, and making that clear statement from the district council that we oppose this application will be of great help to those of us who are fighting for the interests of local residents. The second part of the motion requires officers to give a detailed technical representation about what measures could be taken if this is approved to ameliorate the effects that there will be on local residents, whether that be by condition or otherwise. Our officers are in by far the strongest position to make such a detailed technical representation, and that's what the second part of this motion requests. And I've managed to complete what I wanted to say in less than 5 minutes. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the proposal? Councillor Booth, thank you. You can reserve the right to speak at the end of the debate or at the time of seconding the motion. Do you wish to speak now?
I'll speak now. I fully endorse the motion, what Councillor Bowden is trying to achieve here. Yes, we've obviously had the previous motion about the air quality monitoring. And yes, I think we need to take as much action as we can to protect the residents of Whittlesea. I guess just one question for Councillor Bowden at some point, if he can answer, is obviously we've got that equipment in place now. What's the results of it? And I think I did make the point that we should be using that across the whole of England, but obviously this is the priority location at this moment in time. But yes, I would ask all councillors to support this motion.
Thank you. The item is open for discussion and members are reminded that they are only able to speak once. Councillor Gerstner.
Thank you, Councillor Bowden. I think we're all in agreement on this. This application is a bad application for Whittlesea and the surrounding area, not just in the Saxon and its immediate estate that adjuts it. It affects quite a large part of Whittlesea. We've had for the last 7 years dust, noise, pollution, water discharge from the pit that is not legally allowed because one of the applicants does not have a permit to do so. And the Environment Agency have not been fully transparent with us. Councillor Bowden has led this now, and he's doing, I think, a very good job. Thank you. The original application for this site did, in fact, have the amounts that they are now looking to achieve. But 2 years ago, when they came to County Council for that planning application, the applicant scaled back the application because of what I think was pressure from local residents and the amount of pushback. So the applicant applied for much less in terms of waste and disposal and incinerator bottom ash and the amount of traffic movements. 2 years later, we now got a revised plan come before us, which now goes back to the original plan. And I think it is totally wrong. The amount of traffic we've just talked about, a relief road, we're now doubling the amount of HGVs. Whittlesea has the second highest HGV movements in Finland. I'm not saying we're traffic logged with HGVs, but we have a phenomenal amount. Okay? It's not just clean HGVs, they are much cleaner today. The average HGV loses 20 kilos of rubber from its tyres over its lifetime. Not all in Whittlesea, okay? But that's a hell of a lot of carbon that comes off those tyres. And it is the noise. Those lorries come in and out and in and out. Only this week I saw 2 lorries flaunt the rule of no right turn coming into Whittlesea by turning left and going up to the roundabout and coming back through Whittlesea. It's the fact that I can't blame the applicant for this. He's put measures in place. The CCTV sees the truck going out, turning left. It's the mitigated effects and the cumulative effects of our residents and the welfare of the residents in Whittlesea. And I fully support Councillor Bowden on this.
Thank you. Councillor Lewis.
Thank you, Chair. I would support both parts of this motion. Some of the technical detail has already been mentioned, but I think our particular concern would be to the residents that we have a duty to represent first and foremost. This has been going on for long enough, over a matter of years and years. It certainly precedes my presence on the scene, but I have been party to some of the discussions. Indeed, I did see a report from the geological chemistry report, which indicated a number of toxic substances that had been identified. Indeed, not long ago, there was an incident whereby there was a mass death of marine life. But apart from the toxicity, direct toxicity to marine life, I think the pollution in the air, not only of the noise pollution, the dust pollution, but also particulate matter emanating from the rubber of the 16 or 18 or whatever number of wheels these lorries carry, as well as the carbon monoxide, the sulfur gases, and nitric gases. So I acknowledge, I recognize that there needs to be an industry, and there also need to be residents to live side by side. And I have said it before, that there needs to be a symbiotic relationship whereby both can benefit from each other's benefit. But that balance shifted long ago away from the residents. And I think the residents probably precede these current works by many, many years. So I would, in the first instance, say that this council resolves, as Councillor Bowden has said, that we oppose this application fundamentally And secondly, should it go through, should the other part of local government decide that the residents' opinions can be overruled, I would not want to use a stronger term, but if they do decide to overrule it, then the Fenland District Council officers should be able to monitor the side effects and hopefully even be able to take certain measures to mitigate, to ameliorate those toxic gases and noise, as well as pollution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor.
Thank you. Of course, I'm going to support this motion properly. But I've just a quick question for our leader who's dealing with it. Would you like me to go and speak to a lot of the farmers, etc., in the areas to see if any of their tox reports have come back on any of their produce different over the last 3 years to what it was previously? And instead of trying to deal with the EA all the way through, who we know we don't get the correct answers from, how in depth are we going with middle level, north level to actually see if they've got any fungal differences and whatever in their IDBs and their waterways on tox reports and water sampling? Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Roy.
Thank you, Chair. Just to say I will be supporting Councillor Bowden's motion to oppose this. It seems, you know, after the incinerator, we've got another company here that doesn't care about the health and well-being of our citizens. It seems that Fenland is becoming a bit of a dumping ground for all kinds of toxic waste. So I fully support Councillor Bowden's motion.
Thank you. Councillor Tierney.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll also be supporting the motion. I'm also sick to the back teeth of Fenland being a dumping ground for every bad policy to do with waste. So we need to challenge that. I just think on issues like this, we do all need to stand together. And for that reason, I think it's really helpful that Councillor Booth seconded this motion. County Council is currently controlled by Lib Dems, and while planning should never be political, people are only human, and I think it's very useful to have a united voice on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? Councillor Laws, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to add one point that I attended Whittlesea Town Council Planning Committee and there was a total unanimous decision. They're consultees and they absolutely were opposed to this application, and they have listened to the residents of Whittlesea and the surrounding areas. So I'd just like to add that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Burton, would you like to sum up?
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Chairman. I'll try to answer some of the questions which have been raised. Councillors Gerstner and Nawaz were completely correct to identify that one of the issues that we've got here is the significant increase in the number of HGV movements. And Councillor Nawaz was correct to say that on that, it's not merely the inconvenience and the noise which is relevant here, but particularly the particulate matter which is emitted by these HGVs, specifically from the tyres rather than from their exhaust. And exhaust levels are much better regulated now than they were 10 years ago or 15 years ago from HGVs. There's been no improvement whatsoever in terms of the particulate matter which continues to come from the tyres. And that means that so far as the particulate matter is concerned, which is a particular and proven danger to health, that the greatest danger lies close to the main road, getting access to the site. And that's why we in Fenland District Council have our most accurate monitors, the ones which we can actually take action on. We have our most accurate pollution monitors near to the main roads so that we can see particularly particulate matter and other pollution which may emanate from that. Councillor Booth asked about the readings that we've had. The equipment we've had in place for many years has been what I've just been talking about, and that was supplemented not so long ago as a result of a motion passed at this council by another type of monitor, which doesn't provide the accuracy that is required for evidential purposes, but does allow for information to be available almost real time for members of the public to be able to see. The monitors that we've got, which are the accurate ones, take not just months, they actually take over a year to produce the results which are produced and they're reported on an annual basis. The new monitor, which has been put in Hallcroft Road, gives us the opportunity, gives residents the opportunity to see on a day-to-day basis, literally hour by hour, whether or not there is a pollution event taking place, and if so, how it is monitored and how it is perceived in numerical terms. The unfortunate thing is that particular monitor had been put in several months ago for repair and recalibration, and the provider of the monitor has taken an inordinate amount of time getting that done, and officers have pushed extremely hard. But I do understand that the monitor is now available to be reinstalled as soon as we get an engineer to put it up, if it hasn't already been put up in the last few days, but it is imminently going to be re-established. But that doesn't provide us with evidential information. It does provide the community with very short-term, almost immediate indications as to what is happening. Councillor Taylor, I'm very grateful for your suggestion that farmers be approached for their tox reports. One of the big problems that we've got is that it is almost impossible to isolate the cause of much pollution. So when we do find that there is a pollution spike, identifying which source is responsible can be extremely difficult. And sometimes it's counterintuitive. There was a case a few years ago when a significant yellow deposit was found on people's cars and their windowsills. And as you can imagine, the local factories were immediately thought of as being to blame. And it was such a significant amount in a fairly localized area that it actually was subject to analysis, and it turned out it was bee pollen. So you can't always tell what causes pollution. And regularly, and I'm not getting at Councillor Taylor or his colleagues here, regularly in summer, a lot of the dust that we have is agricultural dust, which will exist in an agricultural area. And people very often don't distinguish. If they see dust, they think it's come from the polluting factories. It doesn't necessarily come from them. But we know that a significant amount does. We can actually see the dust on occasion leaving the Saxon pit and going towards residential areas. It can be that thick sometimes. So we do know there's a problem, and it's vitally important that we continue to monitor what's going on and to oppose what is proposed where you have a significant increase in potential pollution, and where if we can't manage to stop that from happening, at least to make sure that we have better monitoring and we have better controls put in place to protect the interests of the residents of Fenland. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We will now move to the vote. All those in favour?
That's a unanimous decision, Chairman.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Item 12. The report on a proposed new procurement strategy can be found at pages 77 to 96 of the agenda pack. I now call upon Councillor Bowden, Leader of the Council and Portfolio Holder with responsibilities for governance, to propose the report.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll keep this brief, if you believe that. This new procurement strategy doesn't contain any new principles. They're the same principles that we've had before. What it does do is to align those principles more clearly and more closely to the Council's business plan, particularly, of course, in relation to some very significant procurement issues which are going to be coming up in the near future about the Fenland Inspire projects. So it was felt appropriate that to keep the governance as watertight as we can, that a revised procurement strategy is produced, and that's what we've got in front of us here. Procurement is a very troublesome area sometimes for local councils. And we all know that if you get procurement wrong, not only can it on occasion create a significant loss to the taxpayer, but sometimes it can hide things which are far worse than that. And that's why it's really important that we do have a fully up-to-date procurement strategy, which is adjusted to reflect the change that there is going to be in this council over the course of the next couple of years in terms of some significant procurement items. That's what this achieves. Thank you very much indeed, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the proposal? Councillor Mrs. French. You can reserve your right to speak at the end of the debate or at the time of seconding the motion. Do you wish to speak now? Thank you. The item is open for debate. Councillor French.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Councillor Bowden. Nothing further. Okay. Thank you. The recommendation is at page 77 of the report and is for Council to agree to implement the draft procurement strategy at Appendix A of the report, with effect from the 19th of May 2025. Is that agreed? Yeah. Okay. Item 13. The report on the committee structures, political balance and allocation of seats can be found at pages 97 to 114 of the agenda pack. Members will also find on their desks an addendum to the report which provides updates on the vacancies that still existed at the time of publication. I now call on Councillor Bowden, Leader of the Council and Portfolio Holder with responsibilities for governance, to propose the report.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Chairman. This report, I have to thank officers for doing the political proportionality calculation, which is exactly the same as it was last year, so it's not that much of a surprise. And I'd like to thank Councillor Booth as well for ensuring that the necessary names have been brought forward. I've done the same from my side, and the Appendix C that you all have on your desk shows the names of the individuals who are being proposed for the various committees of this council. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the proposal?
No further comment.
Councillor Booth, do you wish to make any further comment?
No, I think it's all been said, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Bowden, would you like to sum up? Thank you. Thank you. The detailed recommendations are at page 98 of the report. Are these agreed? Yep. Thank you. Item 14. Item 14 is in relation to Fenland District Council's appointments and nominations to the Combined Authority Board and committees, and can be found on pages 115 to 122 of the agenda pack. Members will also find on their desks an addendum to the report which provides an update as to the overall political proportionality across the constituent area, as well as revised nominations to the seats allocated to Fenland District Council. I now call on Councillor Bowden, Leader of the Council and Portfolio Holder with responsibilities for governance, to propose the report.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Chairman. Political proportionality, maybe not a subject which many of you find absolutely fascinating. I can tell you it's a subject which has taken at least 10 hours of my time over the course of the last week, 5 hours on Friday alone, to do with the numbers you have in front of you. These numbers aren't the same as the numbers which appeared originally, because there has been some significant amount of discussion which has taken place at the Combined Authority, and we believe these are the numbers which will apply. Regardless of those numbers, however, across the CPCA as a whole, The allocation, the entitlement to membership of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee of the CPCA and to the Audit and Governance Committee of the CPCA. Those are given in blue at the right-hand side of each page, and they've remained the same and will remain the same almost regardless of the calculations which take place. It's other councils which have some changes which happen as far as that's concerned. If anyone is interested in the details of how we've got to this position, I've got 5 minutes to speak at the end, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. But basically, the list is provided on page 3 of the paper which is attached of the nominations from this council to fill the various positions which there are on CPCA committees and on the CPCA thematic committees. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the proposal? Councillor Sennett-Clough, thank you. You can reserve the right to speak at the end of the debate or at the time of seconding the motion. Do you wish to speak now? Thank you. The item is open for debate. Councillor Sennett-Clough, would you like to add anything? Nothing to add. Thank you. Councillor Bowden, would you like to sum up?
Thank you. I'm disappointed but not surprised that members of this council didn't take my offer to allow me to speak for 5 minutes on how we got to these calculations. Thank you very much indeed, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The detailed recommendations are at page 115 of the agenda pack. Are they agreed? Yeah. Oh my God. Item 15 is in relation to a proposal for full council to pass a resolution under section 85 of the Local Government Act 1972 in relation to Councillor Harris. I now call upon Councillor Bowden, Leader of the Council and portfolio holder with responsibilities for governance, to propose the report.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Chairman, and it is with rather heavy heart that I propose this motion, because the cause of it, as many of you will know, is that Councillor Harris lost both of his parents within just a space of 2 weeks of each other fairly recently. And as a result, he's not been working and he's not in a fit state to be able to attend, as he was planning to, this meeting, or in fact a meeting which took place fairly recently as well. So on the advice of officers, it is being suggested that a period of 3 months is the appropriate period to extend the 6-month rule under section 85, subsection 1 of the Local Government Act 1972. And I propose that, as I say, with a great deal of sadness for the loss which he has, or the losses, the 2 losses which he's suffered, which were so close together. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the proposal? Thank you, Councillor French. You can reserve your right to speak at the end or at seconding the motion. Do you wish to speak now? Thank you. The item is open for debate. Councillor Wise, thank you.
Just to say that on behalf of this council, that we are all very sorry to hear the sad news and send our condolences. That's it.
French, would you like to add? Thank you. Councillor Bowden, no summing up. Thank you. Thank you. The recommendation is at page 123 of the agenda pack and is for full council to agree, in accordance with section 85 of the Local Government Act 1972, that Councillor Harris's non-attendance at meetings without automatic disqualification should be permitted between the 19th of May 2025 and the 19th of August 2025, unless a further resolution is passed. Is that agreed? Thank you. Item 16 is in relation to a proposed partnership working arrangement under section 113 of the Local Government Act 1972. This report can be found at pages 127 to 132 of the agenda pack and members will note the proposal that Schedule 1 of the report at page 131 of the confidential agenda pack is considered exempt from publication under paragraph 3 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972. This is because it contains information about the financial and business affairs of the Anglia Revenues Partnership and Malden District Council. Further, the public interest test has been applied to the information, and it is considered that the need to retain the information as exempt outweighs the public interest in disclosing it. Is that agreed? We will remain in public session for as much of the debate as is possible. However, if any member wishes to discuss the content of exempt Schedule 1, then following the presentation of the report, please confirm your intention and we will enter exempt session. I now call on Councillor Bowden, Leader of the Council and portfolio holder with responsibilities for governance, to propose the report.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Chairman, but in fact it is Councillor French who has responsibility for ARP and she is the individual who will propose this.
Thank you. Councillor French, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The recommendation to the Council to approve Section 113 agreement with Malden District Council for Anglia Revenue Partnership to provide fraud services. I don't propose to read the whole report. They are only joining us for the fraud, not the other services that ARP give, but I obviously can't discuss the confidential information.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the proposal? Councillor Bowden, thank you. You can reserve your right to speak at the end or at the time of seconding. Do you wish to speak now? Thank you. The item is open for debate. Back to Councillor Bowden. Would you like to sum up? No. Sorry. Councillor French, would you like to sum up? Thank you. The recommendation is at page 127 of the agenda pack and is for full council to approve a section 113 agreement with Malden District Council for the Anglia Revenue Partnership to provide fraud services. Is that agreed? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this afternoon's meeting. I would like to thank you for your attendance, and may I remind you that the next meeting will take place on Monday the 21st of July 2025 at 4 p.m.